Yes, FanDuel is in the building, but we're not sure if Desmond Ridder will be on the field. In the building? Yes. On the field?
Yes, he'll be
Not
there.
quite. But I will tell you, Jarvis, I am super excited about tomorrow night's game because, of course, the first preseason game was in Miami, so we weren't able to cover it. I was, of course, in the motherland, so I could not cover the second preseason
Absolutely.
game for the Falcons.
Yes.
But I'm really interested to see, even if Desmond Ridder does not take the field tomorrow, for me, even getting a sneak peek at who might be the second stringers, if you will, because you know how the season goes and there are injuries that come up. You want to see what that second layer looks like, especially because the Falcons went after so much depth this season to ensure that they could account for injuries. So I'm really excited about having a chance to see them tomorrow, although, there's a black and yellow team on the other side, but I'm still excited checking out the Falcons
Yes.
for
Yes.
whoever gets on the field tomorrow. Now, again, we don't know if Desmond Ridder will or he won't. I would say, Jarvis, I think our bet would probably be hedged on he will not. That
Absolutely. Yep.
said, have we all seen enough in another short or small sample size, right? Like we talked about the 4 games last year, now the 2 preseason games this year. Have we seen enough in the 2 preseason games to say, you know what, 9 is ready to go?
I don't think so. I mean, just this is just my personal gut stomach feeling, right?
And you
Because
saw it
here's
up
the
front last week, so
right,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So my thing about that is just the fact that I kind of look at somebody that's like comparable to Desmond Ridder. And I started looking at some numbers. I found Sam Howell for the Washington Commanders, right? You know that Eric Bieniemy is now the offensive coordinator over there, so he's running things. So there's some kind of new system, maybe some new verbiage that he needs to get. So, and he was a guy that played in 3 games last year, but he only started one. So he started both preseason games and has gotten some good work. So I feel
Mhm.
like the Commanders going into their last game more than likely may or may not play. And if I was covering the Commanders, I feel okay. But when you talk about maybe 17 plays in that opening one drive, like I want to see. I understand he's been in the system. He had 4 games in Arthur Smith's system last year, but it's different personnel this year. We've had plenty of conversations about the upgrade that is this roster in 2023 versus last year. So
Yeah.
it's miles apart. So I want to see what 9 looks like, multiple series
Mhm.
against competition, against live ball competition. I understand they talked about the whole joint practice stuff and all that. Yeah, okay, that's fine, coach. But in order for me to feel comfortable and to say like, okay, I feel like 9 is ready,
Mhm.
I need to see more. I need to see more. And I'm more than likely, like you mentioned when we started, I know that more than likely he's not going to play, but
Right.
I would like to see him throw some more passes to Kyle Pitts. Like the one that he threw to him on the little drag route, he kind of a little behind him a little bit, So I just want to see them build that rapport because we talked about how important that rapport between he and Kyle Pitts is going to be this year in order for this offense to go. We understand what Drake London is. We understand that connection.
Yeah.
That looked really good. Like I'm okay with that connection, but I want to see that Kyle Pitts. I want to see that 9 to 8. I want to see that thing try to get a little bit more, experience with each other out there against competition that doesn't have the same jersey they have on.
Yeah. And I think you could make an argument, and I think you kind of did in both directions, because on the one hand, you're right. I think for those who believe that he'd be good to go, it would be because of the sample size that they saw in his connection to Drake London. So the 9 to
Right.
5 is a good look. And if for
Indeed.
some reason Ritter's not quite where he needs to be, then London is probably going to kind of make up for that, for lack of a better term. So I think we're all pretty confident about that. But I also think you make a great point about maybe not seeing enough from 9 to 8, because that's really the question mark. Like if the Falcons are going to be an elite offense, it's not just going to be about what happens on the ground, which we'll talk about in a second. I want to throw something your way, but
Mhm.
it's also about whether or not the connectivity in the passing game outside of pass catchers out of the backfield, if in the passing game Desmond Ridder can be effective with someone not named Drake London. And that goes to Kyle Pitts, Mac Hollins, Scotty Miller, that whole receiving room, if you will.
You
So
run
I
down
think,
the laundry list, right?
yeah,
The
that
grocery list
exactly.
of
Like, yeah,
weapons.
because you honestly never know who's gonna line up at what point, and you never know about injuries. Don't get me wrong. I know you can't account for every scenario, but yeah, a few more reps might help you to account for making creating chemistry with those others. And Taylor Heineke made a really funny comment or interesting comment. And then, of course, Arthur Smith made the funny comment back. But Taylor
Gotcha.
Heineke said how complicated these, passing schemes are and how long some of them are. And of course, Arthur Smith said, don't let his looks fool you. He can actually catch up. He can get it done. But
He's a smart guy.
right. And Drake London also said he feels confident that the plays that they could not implement last year, more of those are being implemented this year. So I think it really depends. Are you thinking about it from Taylor Heineke's perspective and maybe thinking, he probably needs a little bit more reps with some of these newer schemes? Or are you thinking about it from Drake London's perspective? They're adding new schemes because they feel confident that Desmond Ridder can get it done. Now, the other guy I wanted to ask you about it, I know this is kind of off the beaten path of what we talked about before, but
Mhm.
here's another guy who we would love to see come Thursday night, but not really sure we'll see him. But I'll ask you again, have you seen enough, especially from Bijan Robinson, pass catcher, but have you seen enough from him overall to say, oh yeah, he's ready from snap one on September 10th?
Oh, yeah. They can wrap him up in bubble wrap tomorrow night for all I care. Because I don't need to see because he's a running back. Like
Right. And that's why I said the pass catcher side of him.
Yeah, he's a running back, and then from a pass catcher standpoint, like he made the behind the back catch from Desmond Ridder, like and took that bad boy up, skied up like made the guy miss. Like it's nothing for him. Like, and just to hear him kind of talk about like, hey, I haven't been on the field in a competitive way since November of last year. So like for him to kind of see, okay, I got my bearings together a little bit. I got the mustard dropping. Everybody cool about the mustard,
Ready.
tripping about the mustard, and every commercial and everything. So it's just for him to be able to get out in the field and see, like, I've seen enough. Like, okay, I've seen it in practice. I'm like, all right, this cat is the real deal. Got a chance to meet him. He's a real dude, cool cat. Now seeing him against guys with against competition in live ball action, like I've seen enough. I'm cool on that. I'm cool on saying Bijan.
Right. Is there anyone else whom you probably figure, I'm probably not going to see him tomorrow night, but if you could get another crack at seeing him, who would that person be? Who would that player be?
Wow. Oh my goodness. It would probably be. I really like what I saw from Calais Campbell coming off the edge, like because for me, like I'm thinking like a defensive line standpoint. Okay, you get up in that age, you defensive end early on in your career. You get up in age, you slide down to D tackle, add a little life to your game or whatever. A couple more years playing down inside, but he looked good at defensive end. I really like that combination, and then with him combined with Bud Dupree. I would love to see that combination if I can add his name in there as well. So I would love to see a combination of Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree, although it might not happen, but I like what I'm seeing from those two because Calais Campbell just missed a sack tee. So like the more opportunities for me to see guys put the opposing quarterback on the ground, like the better for me too.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to go and co-sign on Calais Campbell because I just haven't had the good fortune of seeing him in preseason. So it would be nice if we got a sneak peek tomorrow. But if not, he is someone whom I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table for the Falcons because I'll tell you this piece, and then I know we got to move on, but there was some interesting commentary that came out of Philly, believe it or not, in the last couple of days. They were talking about Jalen Carter and man, basically their version of a unicorn, right? So yeah, I think
preaching to the choir here, T. I'm about to ask what scripture to go to.
Yeah, exactly. I think Falcons fans were starting to get triggered again, right? As they had, Bijan had done his thing last week.
Y'all mother blankers. Yes.
Right. And everybody was excited, like, ooh, like you said, catching it behind the back, Bijan, boy, oh boy. And then all of a sudden, you start hearing commentary from Darius Slay and all these other guys from Philly. The reason that I point that
played
out,
2 snaps, T. Two snaps.
And they're like
2 snaps. Everybody lost their mind.
Yeah. And they're looking like 12-year-olds. Like they had played the game and been Pro Bowlers themselves, right? The reason I mention that is because that also is why I'm excited to see what Calais Campbell can do in this entirety of the pass rush for the Falcons, because just like Trae Young and Luka Doncic, I think this Bijan Jalen thing ain't gone away anytime soon.
Nah,
So
it's just beginning. It's just
yeah,
starting. Yes.
just the
Yeah.
thought. So it's something you and I are going to continue to kind of postulate and ponder on for the remainder of the season because
Oh,
it
I ain't got a
does
punter.
make you kind of think.
Yeah.
Makes you think. But anyway, guys, what do you guys think? Who is it that you want to see? Wish list, of course, because it's probably going to be the backups and the guys who are looking to make the team, the final roster. But if you could get a guy, who would it be? Who would you want to see tomorrow night? Let us know. Drop us a comment like you always do in our YouTube chat. We appreciate you guys continuing to rock with ATL Day Ones. And of course, don't forget to download us wherever you get your podcasts.